Yo. Once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Kids TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Now, before I get into this afternoon's video, if you will, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better, meaning that anytime I drop you a story, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you at work, you don't feel like being there, as we so often don't. Motherfuckers talking your head off and stinking and shit. You're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry. Perhaps you're trying to lay down and take a nap, or you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you're listening to or viewing this video. Or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true, penitentiary / life story / life experience. This is the channel for you. If you prefer your 8 to 12 to 15-minute videos, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But at Real Kids TV, it's 30 minutes or better. So with all that being said, with all that being wrapped up into one big old nutshell, that is, pause, double pause, there is a message. Before we get into the actual story, y'all jump into the comment section. Let me know where you're chiming in from. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Let me know your city, your state, your hood, your set, whatever you may be representing. Let it be known in the comment section. Oftentimes people send me questions, and I try my best to respond to all of them. It's just nearly impossible to respond to every question. Real Kids TV at Yahoo. Real Kids TV at Yahoo. Real Kids, how did the gay people fare in prison? Do they have a hard time? Do they have an easier time? I'm just inquisitive to know how gay people do in prison. First of all, let me put this out there. I have no problem with the person's sexual orientation, sexual preference. Whatever they choose to do is what they choose to do. There's a question posed to me, so I'm going to do my best to answer the question. In prison, if you're gay, if you're transgender, either or, hot commodity, highly sought after. Now, before you allow your mind to get to wandering and hold on, kids, hold, brother. No, it's not for everyone. So you got a lot of individuals that's not what they do. The majority of the prison, in my opinion, it's not like I was able to do a censorship or, but just in my opinion, from what I've seen in the 11 years that I've unfortunately had to serve in the Kentucky Department of Corrections, I would say that the majority of individuals don't swing that way. Now, Fleece Johnson did a video and said that, and shout out to Fleece Johnson and Big Lee over at Hustler Spirit 502. Fleece Johnson said that when he was in prison, 85-90% of the yard was gay. This was in the mid-70s, 80s, and 90s. He was at Eddyville, home of Death Row. Only maximum security prison in Kentucky at the time. I'm not sure if it is now, but I know definitely for years, Kentucky State Penitentiary was the only maximum security prison in Kentucky. I'm sure that Fleece went through some different circumstances. He was in a different environment opposed to what I actually seen. So I can only really give you my opinion, my observation, my experience, if you will. Once again, from what I observed and seen. You're always going to have your select few that, they in the game. That's what they call it in Kentucky. You in the game? They in the game. EA Sports. I'm in the game. I'm not in the game. It's other individuals who are in the game. But again, if that's your preference, I'm not here to knock, disrespect anyone. Do what you do. If it's, whatever floats your boat, man. I think it's a far cry from 80 to 90%, but I would say, maybe 10%. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, give or take. And so there's different variations and factors. For instance, when you behind that wall with the lions, tigers, goons, gorillas, hyenas, bears, it may be 1,500, 2,000, inmates. So the probability of having, people that are transgender and gay or what have you, respectfully, is going to be more opposed if you had a camp, to where a camp may only hold 500 or 600 people. So you're going to have less. Behind them walls, it's a battle, man. When the transgender hits the yard, man, it's a war. It's all out war. It's not necessarily a bidding war, but I guess to a certain extent it's a bidding war. Because from what I was able to interpret, when a transgender hits the yard, they trying to get with the individual that's going to take care of them. Can't take care of them unless you got what? Money. But if you got money, you got to have some sort of power to protect them just as well. Again, I didn't indulge in this sort of activities, behavior, and the majority of people don't. But you're going to have some that do. And you never even know it until the time comes and that individual hits the yard. And then you see that person's true identity, true colors come to light. They can be gorillas, man. They can be big weightlifters, been locked up 10, 15 years, to knock dudes out, smack dudes, did whatever. And then when the transgender hits the yard, it's like, whoa, I never expected this or suspected this from this dude. But again, true colors come out. Particular situation, I was at a camp. As I mentioned, a camp may only have 600, 700, 800 people, maybe. No fence, low level. Now, don't get it misconstrued. At a camp, you got some gorillas at a camp too. See, a lot of people, they would do anything that they could possibly do to get to a camp. So you'll hear some people, oh man, it's rats at the camps. There ain't no real G's at the camp. Listen, man, behind them walls, it's nothing but misery in the air, man. Yeah, you make the best of it. You do what you do. You play poker, play basketball, lift weights. You know, you rec program, which basically means you just have fun and just get by the best way that you can get by. But if you had an opportunity to go to a camp to where it's little to no violence, every blue moon a fight may break out, but I doubt it. There's no fence, there's no barbed wire. Everything is way more lackadaisical, just laid back at a camp. You're within 48 months of going home or having a possibility of going home at a prison camp. You give your left arm to get to a camp opposed to being walking around with killers all day long, walking around with goons, walking around with dudes that got life sentences. You just adapt to your environment that you're in. But again, if you have an opportunity to go to a camp, man, you going to that camp. I don't give a damn what nobody says. Dudes that were once troublemakers, dudes that were once not as laid back, dudes that may have murder on their rap sheet or whatever. They've been behind them walls for so long and they've calmed down and they've, learned to change their ways. The custody level lowers over the years, so they're able to go to camps. Whole lot, just way, you always got to keep your head on a swivel. Don't get it, twisted. But just the environment is just, it's not all that animosity in the air, man. Dude would just stab you in prison just because he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. Or he don't make parole. Or he called home and couldn't reach his girl. Or he didn't get a letter. Or he didn't get a visit. Or, just the slightest of things. Dude will stab you up, man. That's the reality of prison. You all been in prison before? Hopefully you haven't. But the ones that have, attest to that in the comment section. Dude will stab you up for little to nothing in prison, man. 50 cent ramen noodles. Not even 50 cents on the street, but in prison at 50 cents a dollar, man. They stab you up over that, man. Y'all rock with me. At the prison camp. Individual. I knew him, but I didn't know him. I was at the Rotary Farm with him. For y'all that are not familiar, Rotary Farm is just where you go before you go to wherever you're going to be sent to in prison. It's like a classification center. They go do your medical evaluation, physical evaluation. They go by your criminal history, see a caseworker. Based upon all of that, there's a point system. If your point system's high, you're going behind the walls. If your point system low, you're probably going to go to a camp somewhere. I had met this individual at the Rotary Farm. Slept right beside me. Dude was cool, man. Dude was real cool. Called him Lefty. Went by Lefty because he loved to hoop. And he always went left. I used to tell him, man, you got to learn how to go right sometimes. He was good, man. He was good. But he always went left. So he inherited the name of Lefty. He was a barber. Everybody liked him, man. Just a cool, laid-back dude. Everybody loves the barbers. Whether it's on the streets or whether it's in the penitentiary, if you're a barber, you're never really going to have too many issues unless you're really into some things that you don't have any business being into, because everybody loves the barber. Why? Because you want to look fresh. Damn, kids, you in prison, you still want to look fresh? Yeah. You got visits. People take pictures. You just want to keep your image up, so everybody loves the barber. We at the Rotary Farm together for maybe about a month and a half. Like I said, he slept right beside me. He used to cut my hair at the Rotary Farm, so, you know, me and him, we got pretty cool. Love to gamble. Stayed on that poker table. Not allowed to have cards at the Rotary Farm, but they sneak them in anyway, and they play poker, and the guards come in through the back door or through the, try to, you know, catch people playing poker. It's a cool guard. They just going to take the cards. They're not going to really write you up. They understand you locked down 23 hours a day. It's 100 people in one dorm. You got 2 microwaves. You got 3 or 4 phones if they all work. You got 5 or 6 showers, 5 or 6 toilets, 5 or 6 sinks. It's just a big area. You know, they put the games in there, the chess and Scrabble and checkers and things like that. But you're locked down 23 hours out of 24 hours in a day. So some of the COs, they cool. Now you got some jerks that come in, catch you playing, give me your ID, and they trying to write people up or whatever. But never the case, whatever the case may be, Lefty loved to stay at that poker table. I ended up getting shipped away probably about a month before Lefty did. They sent me to a camp. I get sent to the camp. I'm happy. I'm at home. The environment, I don't got that much time to go. Maybe 6-7 months before I see the parole board. 8 months, something like that, before I see the parole board. I should go home this time. It's my 3rd time seeing the board. First couple times, I done got in fights. I done got write-ups. This time, I'm on my best behavior. I'm doing everything that they told me to do and recommended me to do. I feel as though I'm on my way home. But the camp, everything's cool, laid back. I'm a laid back dude. I don't really get into anything anyway. I done started working out. I had a hernia at the time, so for the first couple years I've been locked up, I hadn't been working out because I had this hernia, but I was starting to get big and people was coming through seeing me, and one dude told me, man, look like you done ate a midget. When he told me that, hell no. I said, man, forget this hernia. I started working out. I just didn't work out with real heavy weight, but I still was working out with heavier weight than I should have. I'm repping 225, 245, sets of, 10s, 12s, 15s. Way too much for having a hernia. I had it in my, I had an umbilical hernia. I've since had removed. But nevertheless, that's how I spent my time when I was at this camp, working out, going to classes, doing everything that I could do just to get out, just to come home. A couple months later, lo and behold, old Lefty shows up. He gets a job in the barber shop. He's cutting my hair. He's cool, We're in the same dorm. Matter of fact, we're in the same cube. They have like cubes. 4 men to a cube. Everybody got their own locker. There's one table that everybody has to share. There's one chair. Everybody got like a little foot box. It's like a foot locker or whatever. And at the end of your TV, they have like a stand, and it's built onto the I said at the end of your TV, at the end of your bunk rather. I'm sorry. There's a stand where you can put a TV. So if you have your own TV, if you have the money to buy you a TV, you can place your TV up there. They bring in Lefty. For whatever reason, they had me on the top bunk. Now Lefty's younger than me. I had no medical issues, but see, in prison you can't just choose your bunk. It's not like on TV. Who's on the bottom bunk? You take their stuff and put it on the top bunk, and then you go to the bottom. No. There's bed assignments that comes from the Department of Corrections. So they bring him in. He's on the bottom bunk. I'm not understanding. I'm like, this dude is like 10 years younger than me, but whatever, man. It's me, Lefty, my partner Dante, and it's another dude, I forget his name, that's sleeping on the top bunk on the other side. You got 2 men on this side, 2 men on the other side. Everybody was cool, man. We had like a cool little, area. We there for a couple months. Lefty, I'm seeing a different side of Lefty. Yeah, he's cool, he's laid back, but I done seen him when he gets on that basketball court. His temperament is not the same. He gets to arguing. He done slapped the dude one time. And then another dude stepped up, and Lefty went to behind the bleachers, there's a try to make you all paint a picture so you'll understand it. Like when you pull the bleachers out from the wall, it's like it's a whole separate room behind the bleachers. It's crazy how it's set up. Dude has something to say. Lefty calls him, come on back here then if you got a problem. Dude comes back here, Lefty sleeps him. Boom, I'm talking about puts him to sleep. Lefty's caramel complected, got tattoos, he's tatted up. He got tattoos all over his body. Keeps a fresh fade because he's the barber. Got a couple golds, bottom, like the little fangs or whatever. Lefty was probably at the time, I want to say he was, because he was way younger than what I thought. He was probably 28, 27, 28 years old. Just kind of had a mature mentality. Lefty was 5'11", so he really had that swag about himself. Walked around the yard, man, as though he was 6'5". That's what we do when we 5'11". I'm not 5'11", but in my mind, I'm 5'11". But he was still a cool dude. Still played poker, played basketball all the time, and just stayed out of the way. The individual that I told you about that was in our cube, he ended up, that was on the top. He was on the top bunk on the other side. Because like I said, there was two people on this side. It was me. I'm on the top. Pause, double pause. Lefty's on the bottom bunk. And then on the right side, probably the bunks were probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet away. You got Tay on the bottom, then you got dude on the top bunk. The dude on the top bunk, he ends up going to like a program or something like that. So there's a bed space available. The bed stays empty for maybe 2 days. See, the thing about prison, it's about locking people up. It's about money. You see? So bed space is not gonna be too common in prison. If there's an empty bunk, it's only gonna be empty for a day or two, if that. Typically for maybe an hour or so, and you know, whoever leaves, they're replacing that individual with another inmate expeditiously. And so the bunk remains empty for a couple days, and I never will forget. It was an evening time when this individual came in that was going to fulfill that space. He comes in. Clearly, you could tell that this person was transgender. And I'm saying this in the most respectful light. Clearly, you could tell this individual was a transgender. He came in, he was switching all silly. He was about 5'8", 5'9", probably about 160 pounds. Little short, little afro. Looked like he had lipstick up on his lips. I mean, just had the obviously wasn't a female, but acted as though he was a female. They bring him to our cubicle, to our cube area, or whatever. It's crazy. The dorm we were in had 50 people in the dorm. People's laughing. They laughing at us as though we had this individual move to our dorm. Nah, it couldn't be me. If it was me, hell no. They not moving them to our dorm. Nah, they gonna have to send me to the hole. Now, how stupid does that sound? But in penitentiary, you hear some of the dumbest things in the world. Lock me down. Send me to the motherfucking hole. I'll do the rest of mine in the hole. I don't care if I never go home. You hear that dumb shit. People don't really, but those are the the dumb statements that you hear in the penitentiary. Even though we're at a camp, it's still a penitentiary. It's just a lower level penitentiary. Correctional facility, if you will. We trying to be cool. Ain't nobody trying to, we ain't on no hate shit or whatever, What's up, man? What's happening? What they call you? What you go by? Stacy. Stacy? Yeah, I go by Stacy. So it's crazy, man. So Stacy is in the bay, the little area with us or whatever, in our little cubes. Again, everybody's like, oh man, not everybody, oh man, because you've seen some dudes that had that love and that lust in their eyes. Not in our cube area, but just in the dorm in general. As the days go past, Stacy turns out to be cool, man. Never came at us in no sort of way. Never. Stacy was more so on a level of, if I know you don't swing that way, I'm not even coming at you that way. I'm trying to get one of these white boys in here. I'm trying to go where the money's at. The white boys is paying. Stacy didn't really have people that was sending him money on a regular basis. So he felt as though he had to get it how he lived in the penitentiary. And the white boys was paying, man. Nothing against white boys, nothing against them, but that's just what it was. Because the white boys had the money. But it was still a battle, was still a tug of war, because you had the black dudes, they feeling Stacy just as well. But again, Stacy's going to where the money's at. Stacy's locker just stacked. Can't help but see it because we're in the dorm. Tunas, Jack Mac, so many noodles, you don't even think about that. Just any and everything that you can possibly have. Zoom Zooms, Wham Whams, all the sodas or whatever. Dudes is just giving Stacy stuff, man. Not sure exactly what's going on as far as, what Stacy was giving out in return. But dudes was just, I'm hungry. Hold on, I'll be back. And we'll come back with 3 or 4 tuna pouches. Just whatever. Whatever he wanted, he was able to go and accumulate in a quick manner. Popcorn, it didn't even matter. And you never really see him go to the commissary because, as I mentioned, he didn't really get money sent in like that to go to the commissary. But I noticed Stacy stayed at that poker table. Stayed at the poker table. Didn't really think anything of it, but about a month or so into the bid, or, about a month or so after Stacy had arrived, you started to see Stacy and Lefty was getting like really, it seemed like they were very, very friendly. So it was brought to Lefty's opinion, or his attention rather, one day. And Lefty was like, nah, bruh, it wasn't nothing like that. See, what ended up happening on the streets, I kicked it with Stacy's mother on the streets. Stacy's mother knew I was here, reached out to me and was like, hey, make sure that, Stacy's cool. I knew Stacy from the streets. It ain't nothing like that. I'm just making sure that he's good, man. Well, all the while, Stacy's good because he's a hot commodity on the yard. On a low-level yard. Everybody is seeking Stacy's attention, to say the least. So Stacy was good regardless. But the individuals on the outside, they're not understanding this. You got to be inside or have been inside to understand. I'm at a camp. Nothing's going to happen. 9.999 times out of 10, nothing's going to happen. You started to see the two talking more and more. We'd be at the poker table. I stayed at the poker. I didn't stay at the poker table, but I would play poker. But the closer I got to going home, I kind of backed up from the poker table. Because even at a camp, controversy, arguments, fights would break out over that poker. You would start to see the two interacting more and more. But I see no evil, and I hear no evil in prison. I mind my business. It's not my business. Whatever individual does, it's not my business. But you hear the quiet whispers on the yard, man. Hey, bro, Lefty, man, is kicking it. They referred to Stacy as the punk. Kicking it with the punk. Again, Stacy was Stacy. That was his name. But you have people on the yard, again, I be seeing him dealing with the punk, man. What's going on with you know what I'm saying? What's up with that? I never really heard Lefty say anything. Now, me and Lefty, we would walk the loop from time to time. Like I said, he cut my hair or whatever. We talk about music. That was never really brought up. One day he brings it to my attention. He's cutting my hair. He's like, yeah, people act like I don't hear, what they saying or whatever, but they ain't gonna say it to my face. Like I said, man, I seen Lefty throw them hands. He had hands, man. He's 5'11". If you got 5'11", you automatically got hands. So yeah, people were saying it, but then when he would step to him or whatever, nah, it wasn't like that, bro. But I did hear that. But I'm saying, not my nigga, not my nigga Lefty, but I did hear that. These are some of the responses that he would get from people. He ain't gives no damns about going to the hole. He didn't care nothing about getting no write-up. None of that stuff, man. The average individuals I mentioned, man, you close to going home or somewhat close to going home at a camp. So you're not trying to get any sort of trouble whatsoever. You don't want that. You're trying to get home. We're at the poker table one day, and when you're playing poker in prison, you have to bring your items to the table. If you don't bring your items to the table, they issue you a credit and they say up top. Meaning, you lose all your money, you say, give me $5 more. But you don't go get your items, you up top $5. Give me $10 more. You up top $10 more. And so forth and so forth. Well, whoever's housing the poker game is only going to allow you to go up top so much, if any. Dude like Lefty, he was already used to, hosting the poker games. It's typically the same people that are coming, to the game. So he already knows who has money, who doesn't have money. Again, we at a camp. Nobody's really trying to get over like that. This individual, Stacy, he's up top like $15, $20. He keeps trying to go up top. Finally, Lefty's like, hey, bro, you gotta go get your money. Go and get your money, little duffel bag boy. If I don't do nothing, I'm a ball. You gotta go get your money. You up top like $20, $25. And if I allow you to keep going up top, then this other individual, he think he can go up top $20, $25. Yeah, I'll let you go up top $5, $10, but then after that, you gotta go get your money. Stacy wasn't trying to hear that. Stacy did not like that whatsoever. Oh, nigga, you fronting on me now? You gonna front on me? That's what we doing now? That's what we doing now, nigga? Lefty was a laid-back dude, calm, cool, collected. Why you yelling? Why you being all loud, man? I'm just saying, man, if you want to get back in the game, you got to go get your items. Yeah, whatever, nigga. I'm not paying nothing. Gets up from the table and storms off. Everybody's looking around. Damn, man. What's up with Stacy, man? What's he on? I don't know, but he gonna pay something. It's his Lefty's disposition. He gonna pay something. Not sure what happened at the end of the game. The game continued or whatever. As time went on, you seen the two individuals still at that same poker table. Damn near every night. That was part of Lefty's prison hustle. He didn't really have a lot of people sending him money. Every once in a while, you get a money order. Between cutting hair and putting down on the poker games, he was good just as well. This sort of behavior started to happen. It somewhat turned into a pattern where you've seen it 3 or 4 different times. Then you would see the two just kind of arguing, just having little spats in the gym or outside on the yard, or it seemed like they were always in each other's presence. It's not like they were around each other all day long, but if I'm sitting here and I'm talking to Stacy, I'm like, hey, Stacy, man, I need my hair done, because Stacy would do her and stuff like that. Now, I never let Stacy do my hair. Why? Because Stacy would braid really, really tight, and I'm looking at dudes' heads, and it's red, and I'm tender-headed. I couldn't take getting my hair braided like that. But that's just how it is in prison. A dude is going to do your hair, man. If you got long hair, a dude is going to do your hair. It don't mean it's on no funny stuff. It don't mean nothing like that. It's just, unless you know how to do your own hair, another dude is going to do your hair. You will see these two around each other a little bit, too often. May not be long periods of time, but they would just be talking. Rumors are already swirling on the yard. The bus comes in, the Grey Goose, that's what they call it in Kentucky. The prison bus. I want to say at this particular place, maybe every Thursday, the bus will come in. Different individuals. You got people standing outside the bus, trying to catch their homies from their hood, they set, whatever. I ain't never do that foolishness. But you had a lot of people that would. I'm hoping I don't see none of my homies. I don't want none of my people that I know coming to prison. You see another transgender get off the bus, man. This dude went by Chocolate. Chocolate was tall, probably about 6 foot. Obviously dark skin, shoulder length hair. Couple golds in his mouth or whatever. I never seen this individual before. And he's on the yard. You got this camp that holds maybe 600 people at the time. And you got 2 transgenders on the yard. There's a couple gay dudes on the yard. But actual, like, people that live their lives or transitioning, whatever the case may be in the transgender, you got 2 on the yard. Automatic friction between the 2. They just automatically don't even like each other. Not quite sure if they knew each other previously, but they don't like each other. It's like they're in competition. It's enough dudes that like you all on the yard. Why would you all be in competition? But it was immediate competition, man. They were in two totally separate dorms. Chocolate, he's getting his money same way Stacy's getting his money. Same way, dealing with dudes. He likes the white dudes or whatever. Lockers full, from what I hear. Like I said, I wasn't in the same dorm, but, you know, you got people that you're cool with in every dorm. Instead of the two being cool, like I said, it's a competition. Some more months pass. They end up getting cool. Initially, they weren't, but they end up getting cool. You'll see them walking the loop together or whatever, walking the track together. They done got cool. Loose lips break relationships, and I guess they got to talking. And come to find out, Lefty had been trying to get at Chocolate. Well, when Stacy hears this, Stacy's going off. That nigga try to do what? He try to get at you? One day we in front of the dorm. I'm walking to the dorm, going inside of the building or whatever. You seen Chocolate, and I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. You seen Chocolate and you seen Stacy together. They both confront Lefty. Bitch ass nigga, you think you gonna be out here playing me to the left? This is Stacy. This is him. Stacy talking to Lefty. Chocolate's just kind of just standing there with his arms folded, like he's standing there just, you know, observing, just watching. Stacy's calling Lefty every name in the book, every name that you could possibly imagine. He's talking so bad. You wasn't saying that when my thing was in your mouth last night. How do I taste, nigga? Tell the people how I taste. He got real belligerent. He got real descriptive, real X-rated. Dude is just kind of just sitting there. He's walking away from the dorm. I think he's walking up to the barbershop or something like that. He's not even trying to argue back or none of that. He's just laughing like whatever. Chocolate, didn't you say this nigga? So Chocolate was like, yeah, he sure did. He sure did. So this sort of verbal abuse went on. Seen it happen a couple more times over the course of, I don't know, the next week or so. And you could tell that, you know, Lefty tried to keep his cool, but he's embarrassed. He knows the word done spread on the yard. Everybody's calling him gay. You got these two transgenders that are, you know, saying the same thing basically. So he feels some type of way about it. Can't really get in a fight. Can't beat him up. He know he can whoop both of them, but what stripes do you get from that? Don't get any stripes from doing that. Two of them got to arguing all the time to where they got to the point to where they moved. They ended up moving Stacy out of the dorm. Same dorm, but just put Stacy in a different bay area. You're under the same roof, but we were in like B bay. They moved Stacy to like A bay or C bay, something like that. All the while, Chocolate ends up getting moved to our dorm. Not our bay, but in our dorm. So we're all under the same roof. Under the same, you know, in the same dorm, just different bays. Poker games continue. Dude, and when I say dude, I'm speaking of Lefty. He didn't even want Stacy to be in the poker games at that point. Because it was just like, man, you trying to run up and you ain't trying to pay, and I don't even want to beat you up, man. For real. I'm gonna end up doing something to you. Two of them get to arguing. Okay, that's what's up. Stacy ends up winning like $40, $50. Dude ain't trying to pay. Lefty ain't trying to pay. All the times that we done played poker and you owed and you didn't pay, so now you done won $40, $50, $60, I'm not paying. He wasn't paying it. He's sitting at the table a couple nights later or whatever. Chocolate along with Stacy walks into the poker room. It's not a poker room, it's just a room, but we call it the poker room or whatever. They got the lock and the sock, man. They don't say nothing. They come in, boom, just start welling on him. He's sitting at the poker table. His back is towards the door. Guess he got a little bit too comfortable being at a camp or whatever. They both just welling on him with the lock and the sock. Then they just start commencing to kicking him and beating him. You bitch ass nigga, you think you not gonna pay me? You bitch ass nigga. This is how they do when they beating him, talking crazy, man. Motherfuckers are sitting around laughing. Now the room that we were in is all glass. So at some point the CO will see it. If the CO's in the guard's tower, he's walking around doing his rounds or just walking around, just kicking it. Because some COs be cool. They just walk around kicking with the inmates or whatever. They might watch the games, you know, the TVs or whatever. You got some cool COs. Shout out to all the cool COs. The ones that are not cool and overbearing and abuse their authority, go find you some traffic to play in. Or see how tough you are and run up on one of these inmates the same way you would run up on them when they were incarcerated, respectfully. Y'all rock with me. Got these two transgenders, man, beating the shit out of Lefty, man. I'm talking about beating the brakes off of him. He's trying to get up. He's trying to cover up by getting up, because if he gets up, I already told you all this, Lefty got hands. He's going to punish both of them, probably put them both to sleep. But the thing about a fight, it's about who can get off first. So if a person runs up to you and they still on you, boom, they hit you. They hit you 2 or 3 more times, and it takes you a couple seconds to get your wits together, and you come to. You're like, okay. And then people come in and break it up. Guess what? They're going to say you got whooped. Really, you didn't. It's just they got off on you first, and you didn't even see what was going on or know what was going on. But that's just going to be the general consensus. He got whooped. He got whooped. He's cut. That's how it was with that situation, man. COs, they ended up coming in, breaking it up or whatever. They grabbed the transgenders or whatever. Stacy and Chocolate, they grab them. Everybody goes to the hole. But they ended up shipping them, Stacy and Chocolate, because there's cameras. Clearly shows that Lefty was attacked. But Lefty ended up going to the hole for 2 or 3 days while pending investigation. They ended up letting him out. He was clowned on the yard, though. And again, not by individuals such as myself, but, you always going to have some people. Man, he got whooped by the trans. That was the atmosphere. That was the, people were saying they laughing at him or whatever. He's in a situation because he's close to going back up for parole. He wants to whoop one of these dudes talking shit, but he ain't trying to get in no more trouble. But he had this one dude, man, that just kept running it. Big Ben, man. Big Ben was laid on. He ends up getting caught up. I believe I've already told y'all the story about Big Ben. He ends up getting caught with like one of the sergeants in a mop closet. Nevertheless, Big Ben was clowning him, man, one day. And they went to chow hall. Lefty wasn't trying to hear it no more. He comes up from behind with one of them big ass prison trays. Boom! Hits him in the back of the head, man. Splits his wig, man. Splits him wide open. Commences to beating him. They call it Signal 7. Signal 7 is a fight in the unit, wherever you at. When the child, Signal 7 in the chow hall! Signal 7 in the chow hall! Call it Signal 7, man. Over the loudspeakers, 7, 8 COs come in. Lefty just taking all his frustration, his anger. Bitch ass nigga, kicking him, just beating him, man. Beating him with the tray, kicking him. He might lay the tray down, hit him with his hand, with his fist, and just beat him. Beat him, man. He beat that man, dog. Big Ben, man, was a nice sized dude. Pause, double pause. But what can you do when you get hit in the back of the head when you're not looking with a tray? One of them big ass thick prison trays. It wasn't the thin ones. Some prisons have the thin trays. You got some that have them county jail trays that about 3 inches thick. You hit somebody with one of them, they going to bed. They going to sleep. He beating the hell out of Big Ben. As I mentioned, Signal 7 in the chow hall, Signal 7 in the chow hall. It's always a frantic voice, a scary type voice. You so tough any other time, but soon as some violence jump off, now your nervous voice. Any other time it would be like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? These inmates, man, I don't play no games. I don't play no games with these inmates. Anytime an inmate gets out of line, I'm gonna check them right. But as soon as there's a signal 7 and it's one of y'all or something that you don't want to jump in, signal 7 in the chow hall, signal 7 in the chow hall. That's what happened to the big Ving Reams voice that you had at first. Oh, man. Nevertheless, they come in, they get Lefty, pack him up again, take him to the hole, and they send him back behind the walls. The lions, tigers, goons, gorillas, and bears. I'm not sure if he ended up getting an assault charge. I doubt it. Probably spent, 30, 45 days in the hole, got a write-up. And recently, Lefty hit me up. I ain't gonna say recently, but about a year and a half ago, Lefty hit me up on Facebook, and he was out. Talked a couple times. That subject obviously never came up or whatever. Talked a couple times, and then kind of like he just disappeared. I'm not sure if he went back to prison or if he just changed his profile or whatever, but I haven't talked to him since. But that's a prime example of when you're in prison, there's just certain things you don't do. You don't get involved with activities like that. You stay off that basketball court. You stay off the poker table. You don't steal. You don't lie. You don't rat on nobody. These is cardinal sins in prison. Lefty he was young, but he knew and should have known better because he had already done 5 or 6 years. We're not even talking about juvenile history. We're talking about it as an adult that's 27, 28 years old. He had probably already done 6, 7, 8 years of his adult life in penitentiary, so he already knows. I never seen any of those parties again. Everybody gets transferred. I end up going home a few months later. But things like that, situations like that occur in prison a lot. If you're a gay person, you go to prison, you're in La La Land. Transgender, whatever, La La Land. They're going to fight over you. Certain situations, they're going to kill, they're going to unalive over you. But not get caught up messing with nobody's boyfriend in prison, man. That's what they refer to it as. It's not just me just saying, it's a boyfriend. Or how could you call a man Stacy? That was the name that he went by. What am I supposed to, AU? I didn't really have many dealings with him. But he was in our living area and he was cool. He's a regular person, man, just like anybody else. He just liked what he liked. He never came at us that way. Never came. He's only going to show interest in the individuals that show interest in him, man. Be back for Real Kens TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and be sure to hit that post notification. Anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive, man. Real Kens TV.